Hello, and welcome to Afternoon Tea with Karen. I haven't been on Twitter for ages. I kept trying to warn people these were coming based on this online anonymous survey of 3,099 people. We are urging federal and state governments across the country to take decisive action to curb extremism and protect our community from hate. And no one would take me seriously.
Man, we are going down a very, very dark path. There is only one solution to this, by the way. And I'm a little bit tired right now because I just came back from a meeting with them, the first one that I've attended, and I'll be attending to many more. But that right there, it's the only way we're going to get out of this mess. Toughest ever hate speech laws pass in Canberra. What's that saying? Never let a good tragedy go to waste. Well, in Australia's case, it's more like never let the possibility that something may happen, but it probably won't. And if it does happen, it's probably just some stupid graffiti. But you know what? We're politicians and we want to look like we're doing something. So let's just crack down on everybody's freedoms. It's not as catchy, I'll give you that, but that's pretty much what's happening here. So yeah, basically our elites in Canberra decided to crack down on what they believe is to be hate speech. And here, thanks to Australians versus the Agendas, we found out everyone who voted yes. So as you can imagine, more or less everyone in Labor. Disappointingly, here are the Liberal parties, but what did you expect? But what is more disappointing is Matt Canavan, who was against it, but then caved. All right. Also disappointing, Senator Nampijinpa Price. I always say that I will give people praise when they deserve praise, and I'll give them a smack when they deserve a smack. Senator Nampijinpa Price, smack. Senator Matt Canavan, smack. Now, here are the senators that voted no. Payman, well done. Pocock, well done. I've been very critical of both of these people. I don't know that much about Terrell. Antic, no surprises there, well done. Rennick, no surprises there, well done. And Babbitt, no surprise there, well done. Disappointingly was Malcolm Roberts basically abstaining from the vote, saying that he didn't really want to do it. So what's the big deal about this hate speech bill? We're all against hate speech, aren't we? When you can't define what hate speech is. Now, in this bill, they added in some more protected categories because it used to just be race. But now, after religion, you can insert sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, intersex status, and disability. Now, here in this bill, they basically go on to say that this is all about threatening force, and we already have laws on the books for this. But there's one little thing that comes in here that makes me go, well, this ain't good. And it's paragraph 82A 1B of the Criminal Code. Omit intending that, substitute reckless as to whether. Now, because I'm somewhat of a retard, I went over to ChatGPT to go in there and to read this entire bill and to answer a few questions for me. So it basically says here that this bill modifies a legal standard for specific offences in the Criminal Code. Before the change, the law required proof that the person intended a particular outcome. So you'd have to have definitive proof. After the change, the law now requires only that the person was reckless about whether the outcome would occur. All right?
I've been resisting this move. This brings me no pleasure whatsoever. But it's time. It's done. I'm done. After yesterday's performance in Parliament, I'm done. So yes, the new hate speech laws have passed through both levels of parliament, and arguably, is me ripping up a fake liberal membership card, is that reckless as to whether that might incite violence against the Liberal Party? I don't know. Maybe that's hate speech now. No one freaking knows because the rules have changed. The rules, we don't know what is allowed, what is not, because reckless as to whether is in the eye of the beholder. This means everything you say, every opinion or criticism you have of anyone else in those protected classes, which is pretty much everyone, right? Race, ethnicity, religion, sexualness, and all the other stuff they put in the disability. That's all. If you are critical of any of these groups now, you are at risk. And look, this isn't just me saying this, and many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have seen my video where I looked at this a few days ago before it passed. And it's passed now. And look, you got guys like George Christensen, who's next poll, he's a journo. They did it without scrutiny, real debate, or care for consequences. Australia's political elite rammed through the most dangerous anti-free speech law in our nation's history. This changes everything, and it isn't about stopping terrorism. It's about silencing dissent. And he's got like a whole 13-page thread on that. This is what I was saying the other day. This changes everything. We thought misinformation, disinformation was bad. That was just restricted to online media. This is everything. They tricked us. They completely tricked us. Here we are. We're, well, what can I say on X? What can I say on YouTube? Oh, social media, under 16s. They're going to bring in digital IDs. Screw all that. They trumped us and went, bang, free speech, reckless as to whether. You are done. You are done, son. Matt Cammon-Julie, former Liberal who's now running as an independent against Chris Bowen. Reckless speech without any intent is now criminalised. Even if you accidentally offend someone, you can be charged, found guilty, and go to prison as part of the new hate speech law amendments. This is reckless insanity. That's what this is. This legislation is offensive in a free, democratic nation like Australia. But that's where we're at. And because it was backed in by the Liberal Party, even tweeting out like this, Labor caves to the coalition's mandatory sentencing calls. Oh, good. They put mandatory sentencing on things like displaying swastikas and doing the little Nazi salute thing. You know what? I would rather the Nazis walk around in the streets wearing their logo so I know who the Nazis are. This is virtue signaling. Oh, the Jewish community have been under attack, which is bad. No one thinks firebombing and graffitiing of private property and inflicting fear, it's domestic terrorism. This is not the solution. As I covered in the last video, the hate speech laws already covered ethnicity and religion. This doesn't do that. This is like a whole new level of thing. And when the coalition's backing it in, and when I watched some of the speeches in the Senate yesterday, and they're going, oh, the Jewish attacks, oh, the anti-Semitism. You are lying to us. I don't care how badly you want a mandatory sentencing, which again, I think there's huge question marks over what their mandatory sentencing and the benefit to broader society when it comes to this sort of speech and knowing who people are. But to watch them do that and then go, yep, we're back in this thing and actually we're going to take credit for it, just like they did with the social media under 16 thing. You know what? We had to force Labor's hand. This was us. We're the ones that are against free speech. We're the ones that are against enabling parents to parent. This is completely against what Liberal values are supposed to be. If you go to the We Believe statement on the Liberal website, they're not representing those beliefs. I joined the party to try and make it better from the inside. I recognize it had been subverted. There were some left-wing influences in there, and it was bad. I was like, you know what? They are a major party. They are most likely to have power. I listened to people who said, get in there and make it better from the inside. But when they consistently screw us over by not adhering to their own beliefs. We believe in the inalienable rights and freedoms of all people. We work towards a lean government that minimizes interference in our daily lives and maximizes individual and private sector initiative. Right? In which the importance of family and the role of law and justice. They don't maintain these we believe statements. That's not what they're doing. And then they have the gall this week of all weeks, as a member, I got this in my inbox, an invite to the 80th birthday gala dinner honouring Sir Robert Menzies. Menzies probably rolling around in his grave so fast he could provide baseload power for the entire nation at this point. You can tell I'm a little bit upset, right?
Senator Rennick.
Thank you, Acting Deputy Chair, and I rise to speak against this bill today. This is the third parliamentary week in a row that we have come to Canberra and the two major parties are trying to introduce laws that prevent free speech in this country.
Shame.
Now, I don't know about you, but I come down to Canberra to serve the people, not control people. And that's what this bill is all about. It is a political stunt, and it is a political stunt because the two major parties don't have any solutions to the real crisis in this country, which is the cost of living crisis, the energy crisis and the housing crisis. Instead, what they want to do is basically dog whistle about race in order to deflect from their own ineptitude at solving problems. We already have laws in this country that deal with violent acts and sedation. Okay, we do not need more laws in this country that that target certain statements against certain groups on the basis of violence. Why? Because we already have these laws. What is the purpose of these laws if we already have laws against violence? Now, I note Senator Cash was at pains before to stress that this was only in regards to violent acts and not psychological acts. Well, I want to know why the Liberal Party think that it's necessary to bring in laws for violent acts when we already have laws for violent acts. And of course the only answer to that is that they want to dog whistle and play games with race when they should be focused on solutions. And here's the thing, how do you identify a hate symbol? You know, a hate symbol in someone, someone's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. How do you actually identify what someone thinks about a certain particular ideology? Who's right and who's wrong? I mean, if you believe and you don't believe in what this person's point of view is, why can't you debate the person? Why do you want to gag that person? What is it that you're hiding? What is it that you're hiding? Is it because the two major parties lack the intellectual capacity to have a debate about these issues? And of course the answer to that is yes, they do. They are nothing but puppets on a string that have survived in these political parties for far too long by being nothing but obedience. And I'd like to reference my good friend in the House, the member for Hinkler, Keith Pitt, when he said he was not going to contest again, as he said, the whole idea of sticking to the script and discipline is actually nothing more than obedience. And that's what the Liberal Party, I can't speak for the Labor Party, even though it seems they're pretty much the same as the Liberal Party, it's all about obedience in their eyes. It's nothing about free thought, their capacity to have a rational debate and actually point the opposite point of view across and let the facts make the case. Let the facts make the case. I mean, look at the last week's hysteria over the bombs in a caravan. Senator Babbitt, please remind me the next time I decide to blow something up that I'll leave bombs in a caravan with a handwritten note that I'm going to do it and where I'm going to do it. I mean, this type of fear-mongering over allegations that somehow a couple of meth heads who'd be lucky to get their next find their next hit are somehow organising a terrorist plot is absolutely absurd.
Before I go back on Twitter, I better go and delete some of my videos that might get me in prison. Anyway, that'll do. See you later. Bye.